yes, the holiday season. The time of year where we briefly stop our 17th playthrough of Crash Bandicoot 4 so we can sit around and have a nice dinner with the family and once again try to explain what we do for a living to great Aunt Winifred. It's like TV but on your computer, Winnie. What? Yeah, sure, like Facebook. At least that's what we would be doing if it weren't for a certain pandemic pissing our holiday plans up the wall like a drunk Santa after too much sherry. Now, missing out on seeing loved ones this year may either be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how many roasties get launched around the table during your average Christmas dinner. But if you're feeling down, don't worry, it could always be worse. You could have to deal with creepy psychic children, fanatical brainwashing cultists, or worldwide fighting tournaments fueled by 4 generations of family feuds. Apparently, video games aren't exactly the best environment to encourage a healthy family dynamic. Being abandoned by your dad, shot by your son, or punched repeatedly by your elderly clone brother are all par for the course, apparently. God bless us, everyone. I'm Peter from TripleJump, and here are 10 dysfunctional gaming families to avoid this Christmas. Number 10. The DeSanta family, GTA 5. American TV host Johnny Carson once quipped, "In Hollywood, if you don't have a shrink, people think you're crazy." And it's the same for GTA 5's Vinewood, but even a whole team of heavily armed psychiatrists would not be able to help Michael DeSanta with his anger issues and familial frustrations. Michael's past as a bank-robbing career criminal married to a professional stripper named Amanda wasn't exactly what you'd call a traditional family lifestyle, until the pair caught a lucky break with the Witness Protection Program. You'd think almost 10 years living the high life in a luxurious mansion would have mellowed Michael, but, well, no, not one bit. Between his own cheating, gambling, and occasional murdering, and his wife's extreme enthusiasm for tennis and yoga sessions, this early retirement hasn't been all sunshine and sipping whiskey by the pool. He also has a spoiled son, Jimmy, who, as Michael puts it,
he sits on his ass all day, smoking dope and jerking off while he plays that game.
And with their equally spoiled daughter Tracy constantly befriending the wrong crowd in her search for fame, well, we're not sure even a lifetime of family therapy would be enough to fix this domestic disaster. Number 9. The KOOPALINGS, Super Mario. Also known in some circles as the Koopa Kids, Bowser's Minions, or the worst S-Club tribute band ever, these 7 siblings act as leaders of the Koopa Troop, taking orders from the big boss man himself, Bowser. Larry, Morton, Wendy, Iggy, Roy, Lemmy, and Ludwig von Koopa first debuted in Super Mario Bros. 3, acting as end-of-world bosses, and have since cropped up in numerous titles to give Mario and friends as much grief as possible. Sure, they're only children, but these little Asbos in waiting will not hesitate to burn you with their magic wands or feed you to a hungry chain chomp. They make a fearsome team, but they are not immune to internal squabbles either, like in Mario and Paper Jam, arguing about who gets to be leader and whether they operate as a collective trust or more of a republic. You know, classic sibling stuff. While these Koopalings were originally depicted as Bowser's children, this has since been changed by Nintendo, with Bowser Jr. being the only official heir to the Bowser dynasty. Man, it really says a lot that even Bowser has disowned these little brats. Number 8. The Wades, f.e.a.r. Wait, you're telling me that creepy devil child Alma didn't have a pleasant childhood? Well, colour me surprised and thoroughly disturbed. The standout antagonist in the f.e.a.r. series, Alma, was born with extraordinary psychic abilities, but rather than nurture her powers with, games of telekinetic catch, her father Harlan Wade subjected his daughter to numerous experiments from the age of 3, before forcing her into a coma and using her to hone psychic abilities in other individuals. During Project Origin, Alma was later impregnated twice at just 15, with prototypes made from her own DNA mixed with that of project researchers, including Harlan Wade himself. himself. Pretty grim. But this twisted family tree doesn't stop with worst dad of the century. It's revealed that Paxton Fettel, the rogue psychic agent and other main antagonist of the game, is actually one of Alma's sons. And the other son? Oh, you guessed it, kiddo. It's you. The player character, known only as the Point Man, spends all game trying to kill his own brother while being harassed by projections of a creepy child that's actually his own mother, who ends up killing his grandfather. Hello? What's going on? God, why can't the Wades just have a row over a game of Monopoly like normal families? Number 7. The Republic of Dave, Fallout 3. Whoever thinks that this is what a so-called nuclear family looks like clearly hasn't seen the world of Fallout. You'd be hard-pressed to find a normal family in the entire wasteland. We have the ruthless gunrunners, the Van Graffs from New Vegas, the Wrights from Fallout 2, an old crime family dabbling in drugs and prostitution, the whole shotgun wedding situation with Fallout 1's Maria, the Maxons' ever-changing rule over the Brotherhood of Steel. It's an absolute jungle out there, only with far fewer trees. Fallout families could easily dominate this entire list, but we're singling out Fallout 3's Republic of Dave, as this family-owned sovereign land has seen more shady politics, coups, and bloodshed than your average season of Game of Thrones. In what is currently known as the Kingdom of Tom, and what was formerly known as the Kingdom of Larry, the Republic of Stevie Ray, Bill Sylvania, and the New Republic of Stevie Ray, a chap by the name of Dave led a rebellion against his own father to install his new republic. Dave's family have lived here for around 200 years, which not only makes the leadership struggle one of the longest family spats in history, but also raises some worrying implications about centuries-long inbreeding. I don't think I want to know what goes on at the Bureau of Dave-like activities, now that I think about it. Number 6. Any family, The Sims, and Crusader Kings 3. Well, with a broad entry name like that, and 2 games named, this has got to be one of the wildest card entries so far! Look out! So what does a whimsical, colourful life simulator have in common with a gritty medieval grand strategy game? Well, they are both played by some truly twisted individuals. That's right, you know who you are. The Sims is often considered the ultimate video game portrayal of frenzied family life, thanks to the level of freedom you can give to these digital idiots, watching them host ridiculous parties, do the woo-hoo with anything that moves, and start fires while cooking a very simple meal, Benjamin. And then there's the player-instigated mayhem, turning loved ones into gold statues, creating a mansion of horrors, or simply forcing Sims into the classic swimming pool of no escape. But how about another less commonly discussed candidate for family chaos, Crusader Kings? Unlike other Paradox grand strategy titles, you control a single character here rather than an entire empire, meaning you'll often forget about whatever lands your character owns in favour of petty family feuds, things like locking up brothers coveting your throne, or considering how to assassinate your problematic son that just can't stop murdering important people. Between the cheating spouses, scheming siblings, and insane offspring, every Crusader Kings dynasty has at least a few skeletons in their closet. But, you know, at least they're not in their swimming pool. Number 5. The Snakes, Metal Gear Solid. Trying to make sense of the Metal Gear timeline is like recreating the Sistine Chapel with mismatched pieces of Duplo. You'll be confused and frustrated, and find that half of the pieces don't even connect whatsoever. The Snake family is no exception, if you can call them a family. Solid, Liquid, and Solidus Snake are all clones of Big Boss, aka Naked Snake, the original mullet-toting badass from Metal Gear Solid 3 as part of the Les Enfants Terribles project from the 1970s. This was a pretty wild reveal back in Metal Gear Solid 1. Your arch-nemesis Liquid is basically your brother. The founder of the Shadowy Patriots organization was your clone daddy all along, and your other brother, Solidus, becomes President of the United States. As we all know, the story gets even wilder with subsequent games, eventually covering a family of cloned super soldiers at the heart of a decades-long conspiracy, with two brothers trying to fulfill their father's misguided wishes, and the final brother killing them off, but not before aging rapidly because, I don't know, something about nanomachines, or breathing through his skin? Piss mushrooms, maybe? In any case, this is certainly not what I was expecting from my Ancestry.com results, if I'm honest. Number 4. Mad MOXXI'S Family, Borderlands. Given that the citizens of Pandora all fall somewhere between deranged and meat bicycle on the normality scale, you could say that Mad MOXXI & Co. are simply victims of their environment. For starters, there's Moxxi herself, a woman of sharp wit and excessive innuendo who has run her fair share of bars, fighting arenas, and the occasional bank heist. Her son, Scooter, is a talented mechanic, but extremely socially awkward. He's well-meaning, but has been described in-game as short a few chromosomes, and admits to having a slight crush on his sister, Ellie. First introduced in Borderlands 2, Ellie herself might be the most mentally and physically robust, but she still moved out to the dust to get away from Mama Moxxi's nagging and Scooter's, well, just Scooter in general, I suppose. It's also worth noting that she keeps fanning the flames of a vicious clan war at any opportunity between the Zaffords and Hodunks, reveling in the chaos and murder. Not surprising though, considering she was once part of the Hodunk clan herself. Moxxi's first marriage was with Jimbo Hodunk, the clan's leader and Scooter's father, before Moxxi ditched the clan to protect her daughter. Moxxi's second husband was Mr. Shank, an inmate in Lockdown Palace, before she married Marcus Kincaid, the arms dealer with an aggressive no refunds policy. So yes, it's certainly going to be an interesting extended family Christmas for Mrs. Kincaid, or Mrs. Hodunk. Mrs. Shank? Oh, who even knows anymore? Number 3. The Seed Family, Far Cry 5. Alright, the word cult gets thrown around a lot these days. I mean, who hasn't asked a group of fanatical followers to join us once in a while? But it has to be said, the Seed family in Far Cry 5 set a new disturbing bar for extreme fanatical tendencies. The patriarch, Joseph Seed, radiates that cult leader vibe effortlessly, with a mostly calm demeanour that masks the fact he believes himself chosen by God, preaches about an upcoming apocalypse, and even admits to killing his own baby daughter. Merry Christmas, everyone! His siblings aren't much better. The eldest, Jacob, was discharged from the military due to PTSD and just a smidge of cannibalism, and is now in charge of fun team-building recruitment exercises like classical conditioning and starvation. Youngest brother, John, is the smart but manipulative lawyer, and also a big fan of sadistic torture techniques. And let's not forget about Faith, the adopted sister with a grim past of drug addiction and abuse, ironically now overseeing the family's production of Bliss, Hope County's favourite narcotic of choice. The Seed siblings might be the only family on this list that get along fine with each other, but the same loving treatment doesn't extend to any former foster parents, spouses, children, or the wider community. So we're fairly sure that if you made a prodigal return to the Seed family home this Christmas to have dinner with your nearest and dearest, it might be you that finds yourself lying on the dining table with an arse full of sage and onion stuffing. Just saying. Number 2. The MISHIMA clan, Tekken. Most people would be hesitant about airing their dirty laundry in public, but the MISHIMA family, well, they'll start an international fighting tournament just for an excuse to kick the crap out of each other. The infamous MISHIMA curse spans 4 generations, from great-grandfather Jinpachi, founder of the Mishima Zaibotsu Corporation, down to the youngest generation so far, Jin Kazama. But the real discord in the family stems mainly from Old Man Iron Fist himself, Heihachi Mishima. Son of Jinpachi, he trained alongside a young Kazumi, who later became his wife and gave birth to their son, Kazuya Mishima. But it seems Heihachi was a miserable old sod and subjected his son to grueling training from an early age before adopting the irritatingly fly Lee Chao-lan to make Kazuya jealous. Heihachi also forcefully seized control of the family corporation from his father, and then fathered and instantly forgot about an illegitimate child, Lars Alexanderson. He also brutally trained up his grandson, Jin Kazama, before trying to kill him too. And this is us very much only scratching the surface, because we've not even mentioned the bloody devil gene that half of these guys seem to have inherited, which makes them grow wings and laser each other like horrible crossbred X-Men, or their obsession with lobbing each other off cliffs and into volcanoes. But hey, you've got to save something to gossip about over your after-dinner tea and chocolates. Hey.
So how's university going? Oh, and when was the last time you were thrown off a cliff by your father?
And number 1, the Baker family, Resident Evil 7. What's that? Dinner at the Baker's house again? Oh, do we have to? The last one was a bit too maggoty for my liking, and if I have to deal with that kid Lucas throwing his food around again, I swear to God I'm gonna cut his arm clean off. What? I'll cut his other arm off then. Ironically, for a family named the Bakers, it's best to avoid any culinary delights they send your way. Marguerite's feelings be damned. The Bakers were once a fairly normal family living on a rural farm in Louisiana, until they committed the terrible act of, helping out a girl in need, it says here. Everything went downhill from there, apparently. Now they are violently unhinged, with a taste for cannibalism, and frequently kidnapping passing travellers to toy with in various sadistic ways. Jack Baker and his wife Marguerite are usually engaged in heated arguments with each other, with both suffering from extreme mood swings. Going from stab-happy fury to loving forgiveness in the space of 1 minute is not healthy, guys, believe me. Then there's their son, Lucas, the problem child who delights in hosting high-stakes blackjack and playing explosive birthday pranks on unwilling victims. And the less said about Grandma Baker, the better. She's just so incredibly unsettling, whether it's her ability to get into the weirdest places or that creepy singing. We've seen a lot of weird families in this video, I admit, but the Bakers absolutely take the cake, not that one, for outright disturbing behaviour. If any of the extended Baker family are listening right now, I suggest that this year you do not drive home for Christmas. And that's our list. And look, we've made it to the end without being eaten alive or thrown off a cliff. And aren't we all glad we won't have to see any of these nightmare relatives during the holidays? Of course, there are plenty more troublesome video game families out there, so let us know any that we might have missed out in the comments below. You can follow myself on TripleJump on Twitter here, and if you want to support the things you enjoy, then check out the rewards on our Patreon. Finally, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. I've been Peter from TripleJump. Have a very Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.